Hello folks, Alex here. This is Alex Unabridged, and today I want to talk about another couple of my childhood favourites. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, I thought I'd do another little edition of books that I loved from my childhood and how they've kind of continued to influence my interests and loves and stuff into adulthood. So yes, today I've got two for you rather than just the one because they are part of a series. Basically, we've got Famous Legends Book 1 and Famous Legends Book 2, both from the Ladybird series, of which there are tons generally. And I had quite a few different Ladybird series, both of this sort of thing. I have got an Aesop's Fables one as well, and the sort of the more kind of fairy tale type stuff, or kind of fable type things. Yeah, I had quite a lot of the Ladybird stuff. Don't have it all now, unfortunately, but these were two of my favourites, and I particularly. I think that these were what got me into bits of history as a kid. I particularly liked the illustrations in them. You've got some sort of full colour illustrations in them, but I really liked the sort of just it's very simply coloured ones. It's just black line drawing with a little bit of sort of one colour in. I particularly liked. I remember particularly liking those, and these actually, this one in particular had one image in it which always scared the hell out of me. It's one of the first books I remember kind of being scared of certain pages in it, and that is the page that I know I was scared of. This picture here. I did not like the Gorgon, sort of Medusa, and yeah, that I remember that being a bit of an issue reading it. I think I read it with Mum because it's got quite a lot of text in it. So I think I wasn't that old when I read it, but I would have read it with my mum. And it's got things like it's got maze game in the back for the Minotaur and things like that. And yeah, I just remember being captivated by these. Say that one is Theseus and the Minotaur and Perseus and the Gorgon's Head, and then this one is the Labours of Heracles and Jason and the Golden Fleece. As I say, these just kind of got me interested in the history as much as the kind of the legends, like the ancient Greek history, where it actually came from. And I remember kind of being quite fascinated by any kind of telling of these stories after I'd read these. Certainly when I was a young teenager, probably even sort of 11 or 12, my sister and I used to watch Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, and particularly Jason and the Argonauts. We taped them off the TV onto VHS tapes. And we were one of those which we watched over and over again. And if Jason and the Argonauts is on now, I have to watch it. It's the law. And I think I loved that because, Jason and the Argonauts has the Hydra and the Golden Fleece in it. And I've certainly seen things with, the Minotaur legend being sort of reinterpreted or interpreted in various different ways over the years, but I think one of the things I credit these with is because of that fascination and watching something like Jason and the Argonauts. That film then went on to kind of give me a love of stop motion animation. That particularly the scene with the famous stop motion scene with the sword fight with the skeletons. That I was absolutely mesmerized by as a kid of how did they do it, and that got me into kind of looking into the technical side of stop motion and trying little bits myself and things like that. And I'm still a huge fan of stop motion animation, but I think that is still one of my favorite forms of animation, or favourite kind of examples from those films, and my love of those films came from these books. It's, as I say, it also kind of got me interested in history, and once I was a bit older, I kind of, you know, took that interest of the myths and legends, and then started to look more at the kind of the real world history, and that kind of inspired an interest in archaeology, which I very nearly went to study at university. Ended up doing drama instead. But even in drama, I was interested in kind of the Greek theatre of, you know, and how the myths and legends and stories from that era were portrayed as part of that culture, that ancient, you know, theatrical culture. And yeah, and pretty much anything that plays with or is an interpretation of this sort of story these days, I'm interested in, be it film or literature. Or art. And one of my favourite books, fiction books, is The Minotaur Takes a Cigarette Break by Stephen Sherrill, which takes the Minotaur from the legend and brings him into a very modern setting, and makes him a short order cook. And he's, you know, he's still the Minotaur from the Labyrinth, albeit he's changed very gradually over time. But it, you know, it plays with that, and I think I love that not only because of the themes of finding yourself and not fitting in, and, you know, the kind of the relationships and sort of social awkwardness and stuff that comes into that. I find I was intrigued by it to start with because it was about the Minotaur, and so I think, you know, again, these are two which have definitely influenced my interests and my loves right up till, you know, till now at 42. So yeah, love these, love the format of them, love the illustrations, and I'm very glad that I've still hung on to these. So yes, I will leave it there because I'm going to keep these little childhood favourites videos to short videos. And I will go through my pile of other childhood books that I have, my favourite childhood books that I have, and come up with something potentially for next month or into September. So yes, but thank you very much for watching today. If you've read the famous Legends books of the Ladybird series, do let me know what you thought of them, whether they were some of your favourites. You know, or anything else that you think I might like based on the fact that you now know that I'm interested in that kind of thing, you know, all of the kind of strange creatures, monsters, etc. from these myths and legends. You know, do feel free to recommend some other books and things like that for me. So yes, if you liked this video, please do consider giving me a like and subscribing for more content coming very soon. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.